Hello everyone. This is the video for chapter number 1, Nature of Statistics, part 1. In this video we're going to cover the following topics. What is statistics? We're going to explain what is statistics, and then we're going to identify sample and a population, and we learn the difference between a descriptive and inferential statistics. So let's start. First of all, what is data? Data is any piece of information or observation that have been collected. When you collect some information, you have certain purpose in mind. You don't collect any information just for the sake of it. For example, let's say I want to know what is the average height of the students in my class. So what I will do, I will take the information from, I will take the heights of all the students in my class, I will add them and divide by the number of students. In this way, I will get the average height of the students in my class. I want to know who is the shortest student in my class, who is the tallest student in my class. So I will collect information. That information which I have collected is called the data. Remember, data is the lifeline, is the blood of any statistical study. Let's say if there is no data, remember there is no need for this subject. There is absolutely no need for this subject. So data is any piece of information you have collected, and it is the lifeline. It is the heart or blood of any statistical study. Next we want to see what is a statistics basically. So statistics is a branch of mathematics, a branch of science in which we do the following things. What we do, we collect, we organize, we analyze, and we interpret the numerical information from the data. These are the four things we do in a statistics. We collect the data, we organize it, we analyze it, and we try to interpret the numerical information out of their data. Such a study, such a branch of math is called statistics. Next we see what is the difference between a sample and a population. What is the sample data and what is the population data? This is a very important concept. Without clear understanding of this population and sample, you won't be able to move smoothly in this chapter, right? So we use this word population in our everyday life, and usually that means it's an individual, the people. But in statistics, this word is used in a different way. It can be people, it can be anything, any individual, any item, anything which is under consideration of a statistical study. Such a collection of items or individual is called a population. And what is a sample? A sample is a small part of the population. It's just a small part of it, right? And it's not the whole population. It's just a small part of it from which we get the information. Such a small part of the population is called a sample. So when we are dealing with the data, so you should be very clear about that. Either we are talking about a sample data or we are talking about a population data. This word all is very important. Usually when there is the word all, it usually means that we are talking about a population data. For example, all students of Berkeley College. So we are talking about a population. All students of the major of accounting major, let's say, right? All accounting major students in Berkeley College. So usually this word all plays a very important part, and it's usually a keyword for the understanding purpose, right? So this is important. So you need to understand that. Let's take an example to understand the difference between a sample and a population. I will come back to this one, census. I will come back to this. First, let me do this example. A manager wants to test the reliability of some new fiber optic Ethernet cable that computer department has just received. They have received 7 boxes containing 40 cable. The manager doesn't have a time to test every cable in the box. The manager will choose one box at random and test 8 cable chosen randomly within the box. Now he's asking, the first question he's asking, what is a population? So the population is all cables, right? There are all cables. So there can be all cables, or you can say these are 280. The 7 times 40. There are 7 boxes and there are 40 cables in each box. So this is equal to 280. So these 280 cables they make our population. And what is a sample? A sample is a part from which the information is selected. Look at that. In the one box at random and test 8 cables. So these 8 cables, they makes a sample. So the population is 280 cables, and a sample is only those 8 cables which are used for testing. So it's very important that you understand this difference. Either we are dealing with a sample data or a population data. Now let's come back to this idea. What is a census? So first of all, before I tell you what is the census, you need to understand why we do sampling. Remember, the population in most of the case is large. Like we don't deal with a population which is small. In a practical application problem, the population is huge and a very large population, right? For example, there are thousands and thousands of people, like all adults living in the state of New Jersey, right? There are millions of adults who live in the state of New Jersey, right? So usually the population is huge. When we want to collect some information, we cannot collect the information from the entire population. Why? Because we don't have a time, we don't have resources, we don't have manpower to conduct the study from every member of the population. For this reason, for this purpose, we resort to the sampling. We go to sampling. We select a sample. And what is a census? A census is a collection. If you collect the data from every member of the population, then such a process is called a census. And nowadays you must be knowing this is 2020 and this is the census year in the USA. The census is conducted, and you may be getting, I got a letter from the department that they asked me to provide an online information for all the members living in my family and stuff like that. They are collecting the data from every member of the population. Such a process is called a census. I hope you have learned this word, you know this word before, right? So this is very important that you understand the difference between a sample data and a population data, right? Okay, let's now study two major type of statistics. One is called a descriptive statistics, another one is called inferential statistics. First, we're going to concentrate on a descriptive statistics. Look at the word descriptive. Can you tell me the root word for this word descriptive? And that root word is a describe. So what we do in a descriptive statistics, we simply describe some important features, some important characteristics of the data. And that description may be in the form of numerical summaries, maybe mean, median, and more, and other stuff. It may be in the form of a table. You may create a table of data, or it may be in the form of a graph, a pie chart, a bar graph. We're going to learn this in this particular course, right? So what is the descriptive statistics? We simply describe some important features of the data. That type of statistics in which we simply describe the important features of the data, such a statistics is called a descriptive statistics. So it's very important that you understand this word, descriptive statistics. Let's go to the word now, inferential statistics. Look at the root word. Look at the root word of the word inferential. It comes from the word infer, right? You see the word infer? And that, if you look at this word infer in the dictionary, it means to draw conclusion. So what we do necessarily in inferential statistics, we take a sample and we use the result of that sample and we extend that result to the entire population. So what we do, we study sample. So what we do in inferential statistics, we study sample. Necessarily we study sample. And then we try to extend, then we try to predict, then we try to conclude something about the population. This is the name of the game called inferential statistics, right? So this word inferential comes from the root word infer, which means to draw a conclusion. And what we try to draw a conclusion, we try to draw a conclusion about the population. So it's very important that you understand the difference between an inferential statistics and a descriptive statistics. Take an example. So this is presidential year 2020, and in a few months' time, you will see some surveys will come. Right, one of the important surveying company is a Gallup survey. You remember? I hope you have had the word Gallup, right? A very famous company. They brought a survey and they tell us which candidate is going to win our next presidential election, and most of the time their prediction is correct. What they do they ask every voting person in the United States of America? Do they do that? Think about it. Do they ask every person who can vote in the United States election? The answer is no. What they do, they carefully select us, a part of that population, the voting population, and that population, small part, is called a sample. So they necessarily select a sample and they get information. They ask those people about their voting preference, and from that voting preference they try to conclude about the entire population. So look at this example. Statistician analyze the information obtained from a sample of a voting population to make an inference. They try to draw a conclusion about the preference of entire population. Inferential statistics provide the methods for drawing such a conclusion. So what it's saying, that we want to conclude about the entire population, and we can't access the entire population, so we take a small part of that population, and that small part is called a sample. So it's very important that you understand whether we are dealing with the inferential statistics or we are dealing with the descriptive statistics. In the homework problem or in the questions, in the exam question, I will give you a scenario and I will ask you whether is it a descriptive statistics or is an inferential statistics. So my rule of thumb is this: I look at the scenario and I ask myself, am I trying to draw any conclusion about the population? I look at the scenario, there will be a different scenario, and I ask myself, am I drawing any conclusion about the entire population? Am I studying sample? And am I trying to draw a conclusion about the entire population? If the answer is yes, then it is always an inferential statistics. And if I see, no, I'm not trying to draw any conclusion, I'm just trying to describe something. It's just a table. It's just an information I'm trying to give to my audience, to my students. I'm just that description may be in the form of a table, or that description may be in the form of a graph. That's it. Then it will be a descriptive statistics. So that's my rule of thumb of distinguish between a descriptive and inferential statistics. Am I trying to draw any conclusion after studying a sample? If the answer is yes, it is an inferential statistics. If the answer is no, then it is a descriptive statistics. I hope the concept discussed in this video are clear. Thank you very much for watching.